Hey, everybody. We've been looking forward to this day. I'm really, really happy to be able to welcome you to the White House AI Aspirations Conference. And I saw people filling in the room as we were getting started here, and I think we've got an amazing crowd. I wanted to just get a little bit of a sense. Would please raise your hand if you are here from a university or a nonprofit? Who's that? That's a lot of people. That's awesome. Okay, what about if you're here from a company? Oh, this is such a great mix. Okay, how about government? Me. Okay, we've got it all. This is fantastic. Thanks to every one of you for joining us. A really exceptional team of people from across different parts of government put this conference together. And throughout the day, we're going to be welcoming a terrific array of different people to this stage. So I wanted to start, though, with what this conference is all about. President Biden loves to say that America is the only nation in the world that can be defined by one word, possibilities. And that is exactly why we all got together here today. We're going to explore the possibilities ahead if we put artificial intelligence to work in powerful and responsible ways to achieve big things for our country. We're here today to look into the future with purpose. We're going to imagine the future so we can build it. So when the president and the vice president set out last year to address what they call the most consequential technology of our time, they were clear that we have to put AI on the right track for the American people. And that means managing AI's risks so that we can seize its benefits. It's a priority for this administration. It's why we've delivered the first ever voluntary commitments from AI companies, why we've delivered a landmark executive order on AI that pulled every lever under existing US law. It's why we're working with our allies and partners around the world, and it's why we'll continue to work with Congress on a bipartisan basis for legislation. So all of that is an important start on the journey to getting AI right. We all are very clear there's much more work to be done on that. The reason to do all this work, to get AI right, to manage its risks, is so that we can use it to achieve our great ambitions. The reason you build a stable platform is so you can stand on it to reach for the stars. And that's what today is all about. We know that companies and investors are moving out. They are going for it with AI today to serve other companies, to serve consumers. But AI can help us achieve our country's great ambitions too. And if you think about it, here we are, we're a quarter of the way into the 21st century, and America's ambitions are as great as they have ever been. Health and opportunity for every single person, meeting the climate crisis and rebuilding our infrastructure, prevailing in a fierce global competition so our people can thrive in peace. That's what it's all about. And President Biden has taken historic action on every one of these immense challenges. He's investing in America with landmark legislation that's rebuilding roads and bridges, that's deploying clean energy at a massive scale. He's bringing leading-edge semiconductor manufacturing back in the United States, preventing disease and making healthcare easier to access and easier to afford. And with the president's cancer moonshot, we're doing the work to end cancer as we know it. All of this is extraordinary progress that's pushing the fruits of prior R&D out into the world. It's deploying them, it's scaling them, it's making sure that they reach all Americans. That's how we win today. And then when we look to the future, to win the future, we're going to need many, many more advances from R&D. So our focus here today is how R&D, supercharged with today's AI, can transform public missions for the future and what it's going to take to make that happen. That's why we're here. And with that, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing throughout the day. Today's conference has several different elements. One is a collection of visions of what can be possible if we go big with AI. We'll be hearing from 7 amazing people from very different parts of government. Each one will be sharing an AI aspiration. Each of these is an example of a transformative national capability that could be realized with AI. Each of them will give a short talk here on the main stage, and then each one will host a breakout session where you can go in for a deeper dive. And across these 7 very different aspirations, we're going to see a very wide range of different AI technologies, AI models that are trained on different kinds of data. Some will build on top of language models or other commercial AI models, but many, many of these aspirations require their own AI models. And think about it, lots of examples. Models trained on molecular data and medical data for new medicines. Models trained on thermal and electronic properties for sustainable materials. Models that are trained on barometric readings and radar patterns for weather. And models that are trained on voltages and currents for managing an electrical grid. So a huge variety of different AI models and data that's going to be required. We're also going to see across these 7 examples what it takes to make these big aspirations happen. Now, anyone in this room who has ever done anything with AI knows that this is not just a simple matter of showing some data to a model and then sitting back to watch the magic happen. There are enormous hurdles, and it starts with data. Sometimes the data that you need can't be easily accessed because it's proprietary or because it's sensitive. Sometimes the data you need doesn't even exist yet. And then even when you've trained and fine-tuned a model and put it into a system that's actually going to do the work, at that point you've got to validate it, and you've got to validate it in the real world. And even when you've proven that this new approach of yours works, you still have to change minds to start implementation and then to fully scale. And all of that is what it takes to change people's lives, which is the whole point of the exercise. So that's another thing that we're going to see across all of these aspirations. A final thing I'll mention that you'll see across each of these 7 aspirations is that none of them can be accomplished by industry alone. Many of these are going to require deep research that's way beyond the reach of corporate product development. Some of these are going to require training on data sets that are currently lodged in different companies, not just one company. And all of these are going to require the deliberate focus to deliver on a public mission, which is different than a market opportunity. So achieving these aspirations will definitely take government, working with companies and universities, working with labs of all sorts, working with workers and communities. And if we're going to build this future, we're going to have to do together what we can't do separately. So those are some of the common themes that you're going to see across these 7 aspirations. That is one element of today's meeting. The next element is a collection of demos that Andres mentioned up on the 8th floor where the lunch is going to be. You can go up to those during various times during the breakouts as well. The 11 demos that you're going to see are just a small sampling of work that's already underway today from a really wide variety of different federal R&D organizations. And again, you're going to see the wide variety of different AI technologies for a collection of very different applications. But what you'll see in the demos are some of the specific advances that are already just now coming into our lives today. They're paving the way with real results today, but they're paving the way for the bigger things ahead, for those bigger visions. So that's another element of the day. The next element of the day is about risks. This is about grappling with a question that is integral to the development of any powerful technology, and that question is, what could go wrong? And it's a question we ask because it tells us, it points us in the direction of building the protections and the mitigations before a technology is deployed. So as you hear from the 7 champions for the 7 AI aspirations today, each of them is going to talk about the specific societal risks in their areas and some of the ideas about what to do about it. But we'll also have a terrific panel discussion today in the afternoon. We've brought together a group of experts who are going to share their perspectives on risks, not only risks, but practical measures to start going after them so that we can get it right from the start. Okay, so that's what you're going to hear from us today. 7 visions for the future, 11 demos with real things that are coming out of R&D today. We're going to talk about what could go wrong and how to deal with it from the start. The final element of the day is from you, because all through the day, you're going to have a chance to talk with each other over lunches and breaks. And what I'm hoping you will do as you're in this environment today is brew up some big ideas of your own. And we want to hear about those. So you're going to find Post-its on whiteboards in the breakout areas upstairs by the demos and lunch. And we're going to invite you to share your AI aspiration for America. So think about, what is the transformative national capability that you want to see happen in the future? So I really can't wait to hear from you, because there's so much more to do than just the few things we're going to be able to talk about at this conference. For this meeting, we chose 7 civilian and domestic public missions. But of course, AI is also a game changer for security. If you turn the clock back about a decade, at that time I was director at DARPA, and even back then we were already using AI for all kinds of things, from a self-driving ship to optimizing the amount of bandwidth you could get out of a fixed slice of an electromagnetic spectrum. Huge range of applications for national security. And then for security here at home, we know that AI is going to be essential for boosting cybersecurity. It's going to be critical for protecting our critical infrastructure. And then even within these 7 areas that we're going to be talking about today, there are so many more opportunities in each of these broad areas, so many other places where AI can make a big contribution beyond the specifics we're going to delve into today. So for example, in energy, we're going to be talking about what's possible for our electrical grid, but we also know that we can use AI to manage the energy use in a building, or to design the advanced materials for better batteries, or to design whole new energy sources. If you think about dealing with climate change, today we're going to be talking about AI for weather forecasting, but we can also use AI to deal with the tough challenge of how we reduce agricultural emissions. We know we can use AI to support the biodiversity in our ocean, which sustains all life on Earth. And we can use AI to explore the courses of action that are still ahead for us, so that we can fully meet the climate crisis. For better health outcomes, we're going to talk about AI for creating new medicines faster, but we can also use AI for better diagnostics, for mental health, for clinical support. We can use it to boost food security and nutrition. We can use it to improve public health and prevention, to avoid disease in the first place. We're going to talk today about AI for safer transportation infrastructure. We can also use AI, of course, for increasingly autonomous vehicles, for better traffic flows, for transit that works for more and more people. And similarly, there are many more possibilities ahead for materials, for education and training, for government services, beyond the specific aspirations that we'll present today. And then finally, underpinning all of these applications, we can use AI to change research itself. Really think about that, to actually change how we expand human knowledge. So today is a call to action. It's a call to universities and companies, to labor, to civil society, to philanthropy, to federal governments, to the federal government, but also to tribal and state and local governments, and it's a call to Congress. The prospects ahead of us are exhilarating, and the work ahead of us is daunting, no question about it. We must do this work, and we can do this work. Every country around the world is racing to use AI to build a future that embodies its own values. And whatever else we might disagree about here in the United States, none of us wants to live in a future that's driven by technology, that's been shaped by authoritarian regimes. So President Biden and Vice President Harris have been very clear throughout our AI work that American leadership in the world today requires American leadership in AI. So that's why we must do this work. Let me tell you why I know we can do this work. America is built on the idea of striving for a better future. This is a country where we come together to do excruciatingly hard things. And when we stumble, we get up and we try again. And ultimately, we accomplish seemingly impossible goals. That's how America does really big things. President Biden closed his State of the Union address by saying, let's build the future together. And I cannot think of a more exciting invitation than that. So let's get to it. the future's waiting. Thanks for being here today.